Thanks, Wes. I hope it's not a jury. Well, it is great to be here tonight. And I tell you what, after that act with Michael, I felt like I should be up here dancing and singing, but definitely set the tone for what has been a great evening thus far. But when I first got the call from Mayor Cluck's office and from Wes Jury to come be with you tonight, I couldn't help but think back over the past 7 years of what's been accomplished here. And it's hard to believe that 7 years ago that we were walking the streets of Arlington, knocking on doors and ringing doorbells and trying to convince the citizens here to support a partnership between the Dallas Cowboys and the city of Arlington. And there's so many people in this room tonight who were instrumental in that success. And Mayor Cluck and members of the Arlington City Council, it was your passion and your vision to build a better community and to build a stronger Arlington that really was the driving force behind our move here. And it was you that galvanized this area and galvanized your citizens to come out and vote in favor of the referendum to make Arlington the new home of the Dallas Cowboys. With your passion and your leadership, you made our collective dream a reality. That's the funny thing about passion. They say that nothing great has ever been accomplished without passion. It's the kind of passion that consumes you, the kind that you dream about at night and you hope around and dream and hope that you can pursue these opportunities, and it just burns inside you to want to be successful. Well, it's the same kind of passion that naysayers truly don't have the courage to pursue. Now, I bet if you went and Googled the word passion, my guess is that a picture of Jerry Jones would pop up. Because I don't believe I've ever met a man more passionate than my father, Jerry. All growing up, my dad used to tell us, he said, find something that you're passionate about. Something that you can commit your heart and soul to doing. And every morning when you wake up, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing everything you can to be the best that you can be? And are you doing everything you can to be able to put yourself in a position to take advantage of the opportunity when that passion can become a reality? Well, just a few months ago, I actually had the opportunity to have lunch with the Dalai Lama. What an amazing experience. And as I sat there and he began espousing these pearls of wisdom, there was one that struck home particularly for me. And he said that passion and emotion can often cloud reality. Well, I think that case has been made no more evidently than back in 1989 when my father decided to purchase the Dallas Cowboys. You see, he surrounded himself with a team of advisors, both lawyers and financial advisors alike, and all of them were telling him, don't do this deal. This is not a good deal. Do you realize that the Dallas Cowboys are losing $75,000 a day? $1 million a month? Do you know they're 3-13 without any chance of having a successful season? And did you know that the FDIC owned 13% of the Cowboys? They truly were America's team. Well, that didn't stop my father because he had always had this deep passion to be involved with the NFL. And when he had the opportunity to purchase the Dallas Cowboys, there was no reality that was going to step in his way. He sat there with Bum Bright, who at the time owned the team, and he sat there and did the deal with the Cowboys on a handshake. Why all of these details remain to be resolved. And his attorney said, there's no way you can agree to this on a handshake. We still have all these points to figure out. And with that, he reached over and he shook Bum Bright's hand and he said, I'm going to buy the Dallas Cowboys. We've got a deal. And he walked out of the room. The next day, he went and called his buddy Jimmy Johnson, and he flew him down here, and he became the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. The press conference was called, and off they went. Well, a few weeks later, his attorney called Jerry and said, we still haven't papered this deal. You don't really own the Dallas Cowboys. He said, we've got to get all these these items resolved. And he said, and Bum Bright's not budging. You need to go meet with him. So we set another meeting with Bum Bright. He went into his office and he said, Bum, we've agreed, on a handshake deal, but we've got all these points, to iron out, and what are we going to do? And he said, Jerry, we have a deal. We shook hands. And he said, well, what if we can't agree to all these points? And he said, well, looks like I have myself a new coach. So Jerry looked back at him and he just sat there in silence. And Bum Bright reached into his pocket and he said, I'll tell you what. And he pulled out a quarter. And he said, we'll flip for this deal. And Dad sat there and he said, we're talking about millions of dollars worth of points that they had to debate and discuss. And he said, we'll flip. And he said, flip a coin for the deal? And he said, yeah. Heads, I win. Tails, you win. So he grabbed the coin and he flipped it up in the air, put it over on his hands. Heads. And he grabbed the coin and he stuck it back in his pocket and he said, Jerry, looks like I've won. And I guess you'll never know if that was a two-sided coin. So Jerry walked out of the office, and then a couple of days later, they went to the closing and there to sign the deal. And Bum had a package for him. He said, here, Jerry, this is a gift. I want you to open it up. And he opened it up, and there in a nice, beautiful frame was that quarter. And it was stuck and embedded so deep within that plaque that there's no way you could have pried it out if you wanted to. And on the bottom it read, I guess you'll never know. And Jerry's attorney looked at him and said, well, I guess you lost the flip. And he goes, yeah, I lost. I own the Dallas Cowboys. Who would have ever dreamed that just 5 years later, the Dallas Cowboys would go on to win the next 3 out of 4 Super Bowls and later be named the most valuable franchise in all of sports. Steve Jobs once said that it is passion that fuels the rocket, but it's vision that directs it to its ultimate destination. And there, back in 2004, here he came again with that same unbridled passion and a vision to build Cowboy Stadium. But he had a partner this time. He had Mayor Cluck, who had the same vision for the greatness and the success of Arlington. And off they went. And before you knew it, Cowboy Stadium was a reality. But no sooner had those votes come in that we actually had the deal that we began planning and designing what the stadium would look like. And I'll remember we were here in this very room when we unveiled that design, and that was such an exciting time. And as we were leading up, getting ready to plan the unveiling, I went and asked my father. I said, what do you want to do? We're about to unveil this design. Do I have a budget? What would you like to see? And he said, let me tell you one thing. You will never again in your life have the opportunity to be a part of something as big as this deal. Never again will you have the chance to impact the number of lives that we're about to. He said, this stadium is going to be a difference maker. He said, and no, you only have one shot to do it right. Well, with that, off we went. That's all I needed. That was like a blank check. So we set apart, we went and we built the biggest IMAX screen in here, and we brought in our Legends of the Ring of Honor, and we brought in Bob Costas, and we had this virtual reality fly-through video of the stadium and a beautiful model, and we were comparing the stadium to the Roman Colosseum and the Parthenon, and we just went on and on and on. And sure enough, that night, boy, we wowed everybody. I think we all just sat in our seats with our jaw dropped and tears rolling down our eyes and couldn't believe this was actually going to become a reality. Well, the next morning I couldn't wait to get up and read the papers and then go and listen to what they were saying on the radio. So I decided that I was going to tune in to Randy Galloway. Now, Randy, as many of you know, is not very generous and kind in his comments towards the Dallas Cowboys or to my family. But I figured today he should change his tune. And sure enough, he went on and on to talk about how great the night was the night before, and he started talking about all the details and what the stadium was going to look like, and then he said, it exceeded my wildest expectation. And then I just froze, and I realized right then and there that great was not going to be good enough. That from that point forward, we had to be better than everyone's wildest dreams. That in order to impress and ignite and show this region an impressive stadium, that we had to be better than everyone's wildest dreams. So immediately we went back, and here we had a $50 million budget. And Mayor Cluck, I know you made a deal with Jerry that said, if I give $325 million, will you at least double that and build a stadium worth $750? Well, you got the best end of that deal, because that stadium turned out to be $1.2 billion. And that extra came in that wow factor. And as we got out here, we were so excited, and we were selling this vision, and it was great, and our sponsors were being supportive, and people were buying suites, and it really was about to happen. And then boom, just like that, the bottom fell out. And this country experienced the worst economic downturn that we will ever see in our generation. And there we were, right across the way. We were 50 feet deep, spending $1 million a day, employing 4,000 people a day, and we had a decision to make. Do we stop? Do we wait for the economy to turn around? Do we cut back? Do we change the steel? Do we change the marble to concrete? Do we change the metal to glass, or the glass to metal? What do we do? And Jerry didn't miss a beat. He said, we promised this region that this would be the best venue they've ever seen. We promised our fans, we promised our supporters, and this is the time where we pick up and we spend our way out of this recession. And there we did, a $1.2 billion stadium, and that is what they talk about on national TV. That's what they talk about during the Super Bowl. That's what brings NBA All-Star games to this city. It's a commitment, and it's a vision, and it's about being involved and being the best that you can be when you can. But we knew all along that this stadium was more than just a home of the Dallas Cowboys. We wanted it to be respected for its modern architecture and its contemporary art. We wanted to create a venue that would attract fans of all entertainment, and we wanted to create a year-round sports and entertainment destination that would bring events to Arlington year after year. We truly wanted to create that economic engine that would be a part of this community for years to come. Our vision is we wanted Arlington to be known as the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Well, if I've learned anything in the past 20 years that I've been involved with the Dallas Cowboys, I've learned the importance of our brand, and I've learned about the impact and the dynamic power of the NFL, of the star. And maybe it's misplaced, maybe it's not, but the NFL has enjoyed an inordinate amount of publicity and popularity and visibility over the years. And whether you want to believe in sports or whether you just want to be a part of sports, the NFL is the most watched programming in all of television. And the Dallas Cowboys are the most watched team in the NFL. And our organization has enjoyed tremendous amount of success over the past 5 decades. But we've also learned that we can take that visibility and we can take that championship tradition and the magic and the excitement that it creates, and we can truly use that to make a difference into the lives of others. And as we sit here, we have been able to create an incredible facility. But, a lot of people have said, boy, that must be great that job is over, that you've built that stadium. But quite frankly, our job has just begun. Because for us, it's about bringing the events through the door. It's about going and encouraging all these great national events to come into the city of Arlington and play their event or host their game right here in Arlington, Texas. And I will say this, over the past couple of years, we've done all right. So I think all of you are aware of the economic impact that the NBA All-Star Game brought and that the Super Bowl 45 brought to this region. Well, we have a host of 40 or 50 other major events that have come through our doors. And those include concerts. Many of you may have seen Paul McCartney and Bono and Kenny Chesney. We've had World Championship boxing. We've had bowling. We have had motocross. We've had bull riding. And we've had soccer. And we've had much, much more. And let's not forget football. And not just Cowboys football. We have had college football and high school football. The AT&T Cotton Bowl is one of the premier bowl games, and we hope it will find its rightful place among the BCS. And just this past Labor Day, we had LSU versus Oregon, and we saw over 80,000 people come into Arlington and come through those doors to support their teams, all the way from Oregon and Louisiana. And now, actually this December, for the first time in the history of high school football, that we will be hosting in one venue, and it's the first time in the history of the UIL and Texas high school football that Cowboy Stadium will be the site of every state title game from 1A to 5A, which will bring in hundreds of thousands of high school football fans right into Arlington and right through the doors of Cowboy Stadium. Well, in addition to all these events, which is great, and we will keep looking for all these great events to not only increase our visibility, but also increase the economic impact in Arlington, but daily, and this is something that I don't know that we actually realized when we started this project, but we have had over 1 million people come through the doors of Cowboy Stadium just to see it, just to tour it. Think about that, 1 million people. That's 2,000 people a day that are coming to Arlington just to see Cowboy Stadium. And if you add up the events and the people, including those who have made the tours, we've had over 5 million visitors since we opened the door. I think that's pretty impressive. Well, I think it's a testament. I think it shows that Cowboy Stadium can truly serve as a powerful role in showcasing this city across our state and across the nation. But perhaps the greatest responsibility that we have is what we can do to help those who already live here, what we can do with our brand to help those who need it most. And that brings me to the NFL Yet. I know a lot of you have heard this word, yet, but do you know what it means? It's a youth education town. And the NFL Yet was devised by the NFL about 9 years ago, and they decided that they wanted to start a legacy program associated with the Super Bowl, so that in every area that they went that hosted a Super Bowl, they could leave behind something that would truly benefit the citizens of that community. And they wanted to be able to reach the most destitute and the most needy children in that area so they can make a difference in their lives. Well, when we realized that we actually had a Super Bowl and that we had gotten the bid, we set the wheels in motion immediately to get that Yet to Arlington. And part of the deal with the NFL Yet is the NFL grants $1 million to the host committee. And it's the host committee's responsibility to raise the additional $1 million. Well, Mayor Cluck and I, we knew immediately that that belonged right here in Arlington. So the Gene and Jerry Jones Family Arlington Youth Foundation donated the $1 million matching grant to assure that it would be located right here in Arlington. Now, but the next step, I think, was the most important, is that we met with Mayor Cluck and we wanted to identify where is the greatest need and where are these children positioned so that we can put our Yet there to help serve the needs in this community. And between the mayor and a lot of great work from the Arlington Police Department, and I'm not sure if Stephanie Gillespie's here, but boy, she is one impressive lady. And I think between her and the Arlington Independent School District and the City of Arlington, they helped us identify a region that just happens to be a stone's throw from Cowboy Stadium. And in this area, they identified more than 2,000 transient youth that were at the most at risk in our community that needed service the most. And so we put together a task force to not only study this area, but to decide how best to proceed going forward. And on that task force, we had the Boys and Girls Club, we had the Salvation Army, as I said, Arlington Independent School District. We had several big community leaders that were involved, and we took a lot of time, and I know some of y'all are probably smiling because we did take a lot of time making an analysis of how to move forward and the next steps that we should take. The biggest thing that we decided amongst the group was that we would name the Salvation Army to be the organization that would manage the YET. And, we did that because we really felt that that was the right organization, that they were the ones who could truly meet the basic needs that these children needed. And we're talking basic: food, shelter, clothing, and of course, education and support, not only for the kids, but also for their families. And what has been great is that this effort has really galvanized our region, because it's not just full of people from Arlington on this board. Emmett Smith is our chairman, and it's full of corporate sponsors and community individuals that come from Tarrant County, Dallas County. They range from Fort Worth, Dallas, Arlington, Irving. They're all over, and they have pledged their commitment to making this YET the best that it can be, and helping the most kids in here that truly, truly need our help. And I tell you what, I can look around the room here tonight and see so many of you who have already played such an instrumental role in this YET. HKS, who is our design partner at the stadium, has donated all their services to design the facility. I see Coca-Cola here, Graham and Associates, Dr. Pepper. You all stepped up, and you stepped up in a big way with either your corporate resources or your services, and you have also inspired others to do the same. And there's no doubt, with that kind of leadership and that kind of commitment, that it truly will be a role model for future YETs to come, and we couldn't be more proud of that association. Now, I think most of you in this room know that stadiums and sports venues are more than just bricks and mortar, and they're more than just glass and steel. They are vehicles to bring people into our town. They are vehicles to create employment opportunities for our citizens, and they are vehicles to generate economic impact for years to come. But they're also vehicles to help raise our children. And because of the efforts you all are pursuing with your strategic plan and our collective efforts as a whole, it's our mission moving forward that in the next 10 years, when you Google the word Arlington, I hope they will describe you as this: Arlington, Texas, the sports and entertainment capital of the world. Arlington, Texas, a cultural destination, for after all, you have a beautiful contemporary art collection under the largest retractable roof facility in the world that you have chosen to impact society in ways that sports cannot. Arlington, Texas, a dynamic place to live and explore business opportunities and take advantage of the vibrant activity that sports creates for the economy and society. Arlington, Texas, a place that guides the youth of today into being leaders of tomorrow. And of course, Arlington, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you, Wes, and thank you, Mayor Cluck. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, but mainly, on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys, thank you to all of you for allowing us to call Arlington, Texas home. Thank you.